In this video, we're going to be replacing the headlights on this 2005 Honda Element. With a 19mm socket, we're going to take off our wheel. Across the bottom side here, we have some push pins. You're probably going to have more push pins than we do. Our vehicle's missing a couple here or there, so wherever there are push pins, go ahead and remove them. So that's all our push pins up here. There should be a few more back here on this plastic piece. We have one more right here. Now this plastic splash shield here runs up inside the fender liner. So you're going to have two on each side. So if you follow this black plastic piece all the way up into your fender well, you'll see you have two push clips here. We're going to go ahead and remove those. All right, you're going to want to do the same thing on the other side. So back up top now, we have this top piece here covering our radiator, and it's attached to our front bumper. So we'll go ahead and remove these push pins first, and then we'll move out to the push pins over the headlights. Now I'm using a pick tool here for most of these. Some of them are going to be a little bit more difficult, so we'll move over to a panel tool. So now this top piece is going to lift right up. Now back up top, we have all of our push clips holding the top of our bumper down. So we'll go ahead and take those out. So sometimes these get old and brittle over time. This one just happened to fall apart. Now the top of your bumper should be pretty free. Just go ahead and give it a little wiggle, let you know if you're missing any clips. Everything here looks pretty good. Just gonna give it a good little tug out. Make sure everything's ready to come free. Now from here, we're gonna go to either the driver or the passenger side and work our bumper off the vehicle. If you're doing this by yourself, I'm gonna grab the bumper down in the fender area and by the top here, where you just removed your clips, and we're gonna pull out. Now inside our fender liner, you'll see you have one Phillips or 8mm bolt. We're going to use the 8mm on the socket. We're going to take this one out here, and it's going to be the same on both driver and passenger side. All right, so now that we have our 8mm bolt out here, what we're going to do is pull our fender out and away. You can still see now that our bumper has a little tab that's stuck on that shoulder. We're going to pull our bumper out and off of that tab. So now we're up front, our bumper's released from that little shoulder tab here. We're gonna grab our bumper from the fender and the top and just pull away from the vehicle. We'll We'll do that on both driver and passenger side. We've already done the driver's side. I have a tool here holding the bumper on. This side's released. Now what we can do is grab our bumper, just take it right off the vehicle. It's our passenger side headlight. It's going to be held in by 10mm bolts. There's also this metal bracket that we're going to need to transfer onto our new headlight. While this is held in place, we're going to take those bolts out. Now this bracket, come right off. We'll make sure we put it on the new one once we get our headlight installed. Now we can see up top we have one 10mm bolt here. Now along the side, in front of your fender, you'll have one more here. Now if you come down underneath your headlight and look straight in towards the middle of the vehicle, you'll see one more 10mm right here. At this point your headlight is completely free. So now, take your headlight, slide it straight out, and we can access our electrical harnesses on the back. So now our electrical harnesses on the back of the headlight are held in here in this little clip. We're just going to push them straight out. We're going to push these tabs here and pull it straight out of here. This headlight clip here, I'm just going to grab a hold of it and pull it straight out. So now before we discard our old headlight, we're going to need to take our parking light here. The bulb might be blown out, but we're going to take and reuse the housing. The new headlight doesn't come with a housing. So we're going to take this and twist. Take it straight out. Your new headlight is going to come pre-installed with a headlight bulb and this grommet seated in, but you definitely want to check it. So we're going to take our old bulb and connector. If you need to replace this bulb, do this with gloved hands also. Just pull this bulb right out. We're just rocking it a little bit left and right. When you put it back in, just push it straight in. So now we can line up our tabs the best we can. What I like to do is just kind of sit it in there and spin lightly until it falls into place and just turn to lock it in place. Now you're ready to take this to the vehicle. Now we're going to take our headlight. We have one long arm on the headlight here. We're going to sit that right here while we work on our electrical. We're going to plug it back into our headlight. Just push that straight on. And our parking light, again, just push that straight on. Now, you have a little white mark here on the electrical harness. We're going to line up that white mark with this clip here. I'm just going to push it in place. That'll just hold our harness in place and out of the way. Once you have that done, you can rotate your headlight and put it into position. Okay. So once you have your headlight installed into place, we can now put our 10mm bolts back in. So we're just going to start these by hand so we don't cross thread them. So on the bottom, we're just going to take our 10mm on the extension and put our bolt in to start by hand. And tighten it down. All right, now we can tighten these down. So on your old headlight, where your metal bracket went, we're going to transfer this metal bracket into the new vehicle, but what you also need to transfer are these two metal speed nuts. We're going to use a small pocket flat screwdriver just to get this off of this area here and a pick tool to pull it straight back. there's a little shoulder right here that we were lifting it up with the screwdriver. Once you get past that shoulder, you should be able just to pull them right off. So I'm just going to clean this out here. Same thing. Lift it up. Pull it off. So now with our headlight in the vehicle and held in, we're going to now attach our retaining clips here for our metal bracket. I like to do this while it's in the vehicle because the vehicle is now holding the headlight for you. So we're just going to push these clips into place. And if you need to, if they happen to have opened up while you were removing them, go ahead and just squeeze them back a little bit. That's a little bit too much. And put them in place. Once those are in, we can take our metal bracket. It's going to be 2 alignment notches and our 2 10mm bolts. Now we can tighten them down. And that's it. And the process is the same for the driver's side. Now we can take our bumper to the vehicle. And what we're going to do is line up the top section here on our top brace. Kind of get our clip holes lined up. We're not going to get it perfect, but we're at least going to be able to sit it down and rest it on the top here. What we're going to do is put one plastic clip in the top here just to hold it in position for us. Now we have a pivot point to rotate and it'll hold it up top. Okay, so then we're going to leave this tab here for when we get it up in the air and we can look in and on that here. We also have a small problem where this screw is stuck in place. So we're going to move over to the passenger side and finish that side up. So on the passenger side, you can see we have to line up the fender. This tab here is going to go underneath the fender. These pieces are going to go underneath here. Again, we have a little alignment tab here, which is going to be somewhere in this area. So we're going to pull it forward. We're going to bend this up and under. We're going to push this into place. Now, what we can do is push in and up. Gently, we'll find that spot right there. Push straight back. You're going to want to make sure that the bumper tab is underneath here. So this will move out a little bit. Underneath here and on the tab where you're going to put your screw back in place. Once the two are aligned, go ahead and close that up. And we can put our fender liner back in place when we start to work underneath it. We can put our screw back in. So we're going to start over on the passenger side. We're just going to start to reinstall our retaining clips here. Okay, you're going to get to a point like here where now you're going to need to reinstall your top trim piece. It's going to slide under the handle and down into place. And now we can continue along. So now in the fender well area, you have your liner, which from here we can tuck inside the bumper. And up top here, this is where we're going to put our screw back in. Now your liner is typically held in by a couple of clips, but we removed this piece here, the bottom splash shield, so this liner may or may not stay where we put it for right now, but when you are ready, that's right about where it's going to go. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So now we have our lower engine splash shield and our two side pieces that go into the fender liners, the fender wells. What we're going to do is put this up into position. We had a few more of these here, but they ended up breaking off. So we're just going to line up what we have left. Okay, so what we're doing is just lining up this area here first. All right, so that one should hold most of it in place. Now what we're going to do is just work around the perimeter and reinstall our plastic clips. So up here, we have one. And on the opposite side, we'll have another. Okay, so we're just going to continue with our clips. Now, our vehicle didn't have all of the clips in place. So at this point, you're going to want to put all of your clips back in place, or if you're missing any, you're going to want to replace them. So our fender well pieces here, we're just going to sit them up into the fender well. And you want to make sure while you're doing this that they're on the other side of the hook here. And make sure you're on the opposite side of that hook. The other hook on the other side is actually bent way up. So this one is a little bit easier to do and a little bit easier to see. And now we'll get into the fender well, start putting in those clips. So inside the fender well, this is going to be the same for driver and passenger. We're going to take this splash shield area here, we're going to put it up. We're going to put our clips in place. So up in the passenger fender well, we'll go ahead and put our clips on our lower splash shield piece. Normally you would have more of these across the bottom. Ours broke off. This plastic gets pretty fragile. So to hold our splash shield up, we're still going to put some clips in there. Our car also didn't come with all of the clips. So we're going to put them back in where we see fit. All right, we have two clips left. So if you look at this, you kind of see what moves around the most. We want to lock those areas down with whatever we have left for clips. So we're going to go ahead and put ours in here. And the same thing over here. Now again, you're going to have many more clips. Go ahead and install them. Make sure you filled in all those spaces. So now we can install our wheel. All right, now we can do the other ones. come in here with our 19 millimeter. Just snug these up. All right, now to torque these down, we're gonna have to put the vehicle on the ground so the wheel doesn't spin. Now that our vehicle's on the ground, we're gonna torque our lug nuts down to 80 foot-pounds. We're gonna do it in a crisscross pattern. And then sometimes, if you really feel the need to, you can run around a second time just to make sure. That's it.
Now we're going to get the vehicle ready to aim the headlights. Start with the tire pressure, making sure all 4 tires are set at the appropriate pressure. Remove any excessive weight that's not normally in the vehicle. Find a wall that you can drive up to where the ground is level. Measure 25 feet away from that wall and mark the ground. Drive your vehicle up to that mark. With the headlights off, look for the center dot in the headlight lens. Measure from the ground to that center dot. You can use a ruler to help you out. Transferring that measurement to the wall, making a mark with some tape. On the driver's side, measure down 4 inches, putting another piece of tape. For the passenger side, you only need to measure down 2 inches. Now turning the headlights on, it is easier to do this at night or in a dark area. Locating your headlight adjuster and using a Phillips head screwdriver, turn your adjuster one way or another to bring the headlight up or down. Once the headlight is adjusted to the tape mark on the wall, move on to the next headlight. If you're confused because the beams seem to blend together, you can always have someone stand in front of the other headlight while you make your adjustments for that one. Now your headlights are aligned and you're all set to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.